Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Bootcamp. Jazzi here, and I got a good workout plan for us today. We're gonna be doing 2 rounds today. So it's been a little hot. So we're spelling out heat wave today. So we have 8 movements here, 45, 15, 2 rounds through. We don't need any equipment or anything today. And we are not really moving that far side to side. So we just need enough space for basically us to be laying down head to toes. So I'm going to go ahead real quick with demos and then we will get right into the workout. So first off, for our H, we are going to be doing a hand walk into a push-up, which is basically an inchworm with a push-up. So starting on one side of our space, hips coming back, hands to the ground, walking out into a plank, and then our push-up, and then walking our hands. And by hands, I mean walking our feet to our hands, standing up, and then coming back the way we came. So that's going to be movement number 1. Movement number 2, for the E, we're doing plank knee to elbow. So you can either do same side or opposite side elbow, whatever feels good. You can also alternate between the two, but hands and knee or hands and toes here, exhaling, bringing one knee up at a time, or again, coming across. So whatever feels good for you, you can always do one round, one the other round. So next, for the first A, we have an alternating reverse lunge. So starting at the top of our space, stepping back, and then pushing through our foot, whole foot standing back up, and then the other leg coming back up. So for this one too, if you'd like to make it a little bit more challenging, you can add a pause, you can do a pulse, you can also do an overhead lunge. So whatever feels good for you today. And then after that, we're going to do some toe taps for our T. So if you have something to like tap your toes on, like a little box or something, you can have that. Or you can just kind of like tap your toes up, acting like you're tapping something. Or you can kind of do more of like a high knee run in place. Whatever feels good for you, that's what we're doing for the T. Basically, just keep moving, get those knees up. And then that's heat. We now have wave. So the W is going to be a wide stance squat. So bringing our feet wider than hip width here, finding a distance that feels comfortable. Bring our knees over our toes still, driving through our whole foot, heel big to little toe, standing on up. So we're going to feel that more in our glutes and our inner thighs there. And then for our other A, we're going to do bent over A's. So feet hip width apart, hips back, hands in front, squeeze into our armpits until we're all the way out like an A. So from this angle, we're here, squeezing down and back. So it's going to be that. And then for the final 2 movements, we're going to do a little bit of extra core work here. So first off, we have V-ups. So we can do it one of 3 ways. We can be all the way out, lifting both our toes back down. We can do one leg at a time. That's what I'm going to be doing. Or you can bring your hands behind us and do a little bit of a like V crunch there. So those are those options. And then finally for the last movement, we're going to do dead bugs, but it's going to be an eccentric dead bug. So say here, coming down 1, 2, 3, exhaling back in. So coming out nice and slow, exhaling back in. So that is our whole workout for today. So let's go ahead, get started with our warm-up. Starting with the world's greatest stretch, coming to the top of our space. Interlace our fingers, grab onto one of our knees, pulling towards our chest. Whoops. And let's go ahead, exhale, step back, reverse lunge, hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight, really opening up our hips. And exhaling, opening up towards our front leg. Thumb is facing behind us, looking past our hand. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, planting outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And we can go ahead and exhale. Bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So interlacing our fingers, grabbing onto our other knee, pulling towards our chest. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, step back, reverse lunge. Hands are coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. Breathing into our tight areas. We're going to go ahead and exhale, opening up towards the ceiling, thumb facing behind us. Getting that rotation through our neck here. And exhale, planting outside of our front foot. Bringing our back foot a little bit closer and pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And exhaling, bring your feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, last part of our warm-up here, a little bit of plank to pike going. So making our way to the ground, hands and toes. And let's go ahead, exhale, push up our hips, start to pedal our heels, open up our calves. So we can do at least one breath here. And then exhaling, switching legs. We're gonna switch again. And let's switch one more time. And then we can go ahead, press both our heels into the ground, push our head in between our arms, and come back to our plank. We're gonna do 3 quick pikes here coming up and down. 2 more coming up and down. And last one coming up. And then let's go ahead and walk our hands towards our feet. And then can go ahead and stand up. And we are ready to rock and roll. So like I said here, we have 8 movements. We're spelling out heat wave. So we're going to do 2 rounds today, 45, 15. Let me get my timer started here. 3, 2, 1, and go. So starting with our hand walk to push up, which is basically another way of saying inchworm, since heat wave starts with an H and not an I. So we're walking our hands out, doing our push up. And you honestly could walk your hands back to your legs if that feels good and stay in place, or you can walk your feet towards your hands. So doing whatever feels good for you today. I'll let you choose the way you do this one here. As long as we are doing the movement, we are good. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, for our first E, we have plank knee to elbow. So you can either do same side or opposite side elbow. 3, 2, 1. So wherever we're starting, screw those hands into the ground underneath our shoulders, out into our plank. Exhale, bringing our knee to our elbow. Really making sure that we exhale, bringing our core together, and that pulls our knee up versus our knee leading the core. Great job. Reset here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we're going to do an alternating reverse lunge. So coming to the top of our space. And like I said, you can make it more challenging. 3, 2, 1. You can just straight up alternate, stepping back. You can add a pause. Coming up. You can add a tempo. So you can step back, come down, 3 seconds, pause, up, 3 seconds. So finding ways to make it more challenging, because I know we've done a lot of reverse lunges over the last almost 3 years, or I guess it's been 3 years now. So you can also do an overhead one, give your arms a little bit of a workout. 3, 2, 1. Really finding what feels best for you on that one. Next up, we have toe taps. So if you have something you can tap your toes onto, go ahead and grab that. If not, we can be creative. 3, 2, 1. So we want to get our toes about a little bit in front of us, or if you want to kind of do more of a high knee in place, kicking your toes out, whatever feels good. You could also do like more of like a run in place. You can do marches, like really whatever feels good for you. Because I know sometimes the toe taps be a little trickier. But getting those toes out in front of us, staying on our toes as well. Great job. I'm gonna do a little bit of high knees for the last few seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, that's our cardio movement for today. Next up, wide stance squat. So we're taking our feet a little bit wider than hip width here. 3, 2, 1. So coming down and pushing through our whole foot. So for this one, like I said, during the demos, we are going to feel this a little bit more in our inner thigh, a little bit more in the glutes, but our positioning is still the same. Coming down as low as we can. Great job. Keep pushing. Face this way again. And on this one, really making sure our knees are staying out over our toes. They're not coming in. 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh, that always gets my leg, my hip a little tight. All right, next up, bent over A's. Feet hip width apart, slide bend in our knees. 3, 2, 1. So hands are here. We're squeezing our armpits, coming up, back down. You can, again, make this more challenging through a tempo, but I really want us to focus on using our back to pull our arm up. It's really easy just to kind of move like this. Maybe you feel it in your triceps, maybe you feel it in your shoulders. I want us to really be intentional here. So bring our shoulder blades down and back. So we're squeezing our orange. Squeeze your armpits like you have a piece of paper here. Hold it tight. Bring your arms up using your back muscles and back down. So we're going nice and slow here. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. Coming down to the ground, we got core last part, and then we're going to do one more round here. So V-ups are first. 3, 2, 1. So during the demo, I did all of the versions of this, but you can really do whatever. When you hear the word V-up, you can do whatever movement you see. I like it to do it this way because I can really focus on my core. I know for me, when I come all the way down with my hands and my legs and do both legs, I tend to feel it more in my hips and it's not comfortable. So whatever version feels the best for you, that's what I would like you to do today. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last up here, we have dead bugs. They're going to be an eccentric dead bug. So we're taking 3 seconds out and then coming back regular amount of tempo. 3, 2, 1. So hands over shoulders, knees directly above our hips, coming down, and then exhaling back in. So coming down 1, 2, 3. Really want to exhale, keeping our back on the ground. Pulling in, using our core. not our hips. If you're feeling it in your hips or your back, keep your leg a little bit higher up. You don't have to come all the way down unless you can pull your leg back in with just your core. 3, 2, 1. All right. Round 1 is done. Like I said, we got 8 movements, so we're going to do one more round, and then we'll do a couple stretches, and we'll be done for today. 3, 2, 1. So hand walk into our push-up here. And as always, if y'all have any themes you want me to focus on, please let me know. Y'all know at this point, I like to make it as fun as I can. Working out sometimes isn't always the most fun part of the day, but I really want us to really enjoy it, and I like to have the themes to help just mix it up. And also, sometimes it helps spark my creativity, so we're not doing the same things over and over and over again. So let me know if you have ideas. If not, hopefully I'll come up with another one for next week and also for tomorrow. 3, 2, 1. We are not doing heat wave again tomorrow. So, all right. Next up, plank, knee to elbow. So same side or opposite side. 3, 2, 1. Whatever feels good for you. So if you want to do, if you did the same side last time, do the opposite side this time. The opposite side can be a little bit more challenging because we are using a little bit more in different core muscles to come across. But it is a good way to practice rotation, which I feel like we don't get enough of during the day regularly. Of course, outside of like walking, but doing whatever feels good today. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, reverse lunges. We're alternating because this starts with an A. Doing whatever feels good. 3, 2, 1. Making sure though our knee is over our second toe, chest is over the arch of our front foot. Driving through, heel big toe, little toe. Making sure we are feeling it in our glutes primarily. You might feel it in your quads as well. I just want to make sure we're not feeling it in our knees. So that's why getting our hips back, but keeping our weight forward and pressing through our whole foot. So use those heels. Great job. Keep pushing. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have toe taps, which again, you can do a march, skip, high knees, toe taps, whatever feels good, as long as we're moving, getting our knees up. 3, 2, 1. So getting our knees up, like we're running in place. You know what? We could make it a 2-inch run in place because 2 starts with a T. I just thought about that. So if you want to do that as well, that also works. Again, as long as we are moving quickly, staying on our toes, and keeping our core engaged. Great job. Keep pushing. If you're like me, you don't like running. This is always not fun. 3, 2, 1. All right. We're done with that for today. Up next, a wide stance squat. So we're taking our feet wider than hip width. 3, 2, 1. But finding a distance that feels good for you. I know for me, anything that's super wide starts to put pressure on my hip. Doesn't feel good. So in my mind, why do something that doesn't feel right when you can just tweak it to make it adjust to your body and how you feel? So finding out whatever feels good for you. I think y'all know I'm a huge proponent of that because we are all different, and what feels good for me won't feel good for everyone else, and vice versa. 3, 2, 1. All right, done with those. Next up, bent over A's. So we're squeezing our armpits, using our back, coming up like an A, like an airplane. 3, 2, 1. So we're squeezing that orange right here. So I like to imagine we're pulling our shoulder blades down and together. Exhaling, squeezing our armpits down. Good job. Again, going nice and slow, using your back muscles to pull your arms up. So that's why I like to focus on squeezing the armpit first. So squeeze and then pull. 3, 2, 1. All right, y'all. We got our core movements, and then we're going to be done for today. So starting off with our V-ups, and then we have dead bugs. 3, 2, 1. And just because we have a little bit extra time, because we are only doing 8 movements twice instead of 6 3 times. So we can take a little bit longer, focus on the core work a little bit extra if you'd like. But we are going to stay on the ground, on our backs for our cool down. We're going to do some figure 4. Open up our hips and our back. I know I'm pretty sore from yesterday, so we're going to do a little extra stretching. 3, 2, 1. All right. We're getting ready. We're going to have a quick break, quick rest, and then we're getting into our dead bugs here. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Right. Hands, the ceiling. We're going eccentric dead bugs here. So coming out 1, 2, 3. Back in. 1, 2, 3. Exhaling in. I like to imagine we're zipping our core up with exhaling. So we exhale, we breathe through our straw. That's going to activate our core muscles to then pull our leg in at the same time. So we should feel that really working our core here. Great job, y'all. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's circuit. So go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. And then we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're going to do some figure 4 for our cool down. So we're going to go ahead, lay on our backs on the ground. And we can go ahead, place one foot on the ground, cross our opposite ankle over our knee. And if that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. Or we can go ahead and interlace our fingers, grab onto our in the middle of our hamstring or in front of our shin, and pull our knee towards our chest. Really exhaling, thawing away our tension. Inhaling through our nose into our bellies. And exhaling. Thawing away our tension. Then go ahead and do a few more breaths on this side here. Should really feel that opening up the back of our hip. And one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, we can go ahead and gently bring our foot back to the ground. And we are going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So opposite ankle over the other knee. And if that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. We can go ahead and interlace our fingers, grabbing either in the middle of our hamstring or in front of our shin and pulling our knee towards our chest. Really thawing away our tension, letting our body relax into the stretch, taking this time to physically and mentally decompress. When we focus on one, it kind of helps the other, which is a great way to kind of do a little bit of a reset before going back to work or getting lunch. So take this time, let your body relax. And let's go and do one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, we can go ahead gently bring our feet back to the ground. And feel free to stay laying on the ground, or you can return to a seated kneeling or a standing position. That is going to be all the time we have for today's class. So thank you for joining me. Great job. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for exercise.